Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Pro Scrims. This is, of course, the South Asia Scrims that we're going to be stepping into, and all thanks to Northern Gaming for making it happen. Along with which, we are joined with Necro once again to get us through of the season 2. I mean, how you been, dude? First things first, of course.
Well, I mean, it's been a great time. I was casting the PMCC as well. I mean, I'm doing absolutely good, and even in the PMCC, a lot of teams are doing pretty good. So I'm pretty sure today we might be seeing an incredible game from these lads. At least I'm expecting some updated strategies.
Oh, most certainly, dude. So that is going to be so on point. Because again, I mean, when you talk about the gameplay that we've seen thus far, last time when we jumped into the awesomeness, it was, of course, these Mongolian teams that had jumped into the action, and that showcased a different level of approach from the lobby itself when it came down to the games. Now, today is going to be another affair where we jump in, of course, with Season 2's day number 3. We're going to have 2 days of awesomeness getting started right about now, lads, and this is going to be phenomenal. Super duper excited I am, but so I do want to have to, I mean, again, what can you say? There are those teams that have not been showcasing that wonderful synergy, but hopefully when this comes on screen, which is of course going to be the prize pool, $2,000 on the line, this is something that hopefully can motivate those teams and players.
Well, I mean, there's always going to be those backbenchers, all the time that are having a great time, even staying in the backbenches as well. But I mean, we still have 2 more days in the future as well. I mean, at least for now, we still have like 6 games going in for these lads. Maybe in these 2 days, they are going to be able to, climb back up on those leaderboards. I mean, certainly it is going to be pretty tough, considering the fact that it's semifinals. All these teams are going to be trying their best again. And also at the same time, you need to also keep one thing in mind. These are just scrims, so you're not supposed to show your real strategies inside of these scrims, because I'm pretty sure all these teams are going to be learning a lot from these scrims. So let's take a look at the point structure. 1 kill and 1 point per kill. I mean, this is an interesting, we have been seeing in the past as well. This kind of meta makes a lot of comebacks happen.
That is true, mate. That certainly is true. Because again, this makes it that much more close-knit matches, right? Because after all, when it comes down to these teams, every single team is certainly trained to bring in that aggression when they join the lobby. But talking about that aggression, this has faltered a little bit coming in from the consistent team that we've been calling, which is going to be Stalwart Flex. Hopefully today will be a different affair coming in from them, alongside which, of course, we've had some beautiful plays coming in from Train to Kill as well when it comes down to day number 2. That was the last day. But moving things along, let's start a conversation about Team QWERTY. What do you think? What should we expect from this team today?
Team QWERTY, I mean, today I really feel like Team QWERTY might just do really good. Because why am I saying this? Because in the PMCC, these guys were doing absolutely phenomenal. These guys are slapping currently in the PMCC as well. So I'm expecting Team QWERTY to at least perform decent against these top tier teams. But I mean, as I said, these are top tier teams from all the regions that are here. So certainly performing against them is going to be a tough task. But Team QWERTY, I'm expecting a good performance today.
Absolutely, mate. Keeping my fingers crossed for these teams. Moving the conversation along towards, of course, the maps that are going to be part of today's saga. We are going to be having 3 games back to back as usual, but this time around, we shall be seeing these teams join on along the map of Sanhok. Of course, till now, last week, we saw them join into Miramar. Earlier to that, it was, of course, Erangel, but now it is going to get cumbersome.
It is going to get, and then now all 3 maps are Sanhok. I mean, we do know Sanhok is a map where it's more kind of like a zone-favored map. If any team is inside those late-game circles, it's pretty much like their game if they're able to hold it off pretty well. Unless if they make some mistakes and they get caught off guard for those, which do happen most of the times. But if there's teams like Zeus, then them making mistakes, the chances are pretty minimal.
True, mate. That is certainly true, and hoping that again, not only Zeus but so many other teams are able to, utilize the map that is going to be available to them. That's going to be Sanhok, because again, when you talk about this map, you do know for a fact that it is a smaller map, right? In terms of the cells compared to the other maps like Erangel or Miramar, and thus implying that when it comes to Sanhok, if teams, like you so beautifully pointed out, if teams are looking good when it comes down to that zone, they should be able to have a better advantage. And hopefully, again, when it comes down to the aggressiveness, this map does help into those teams that have an aggressive stance that they want to showcase towards the lobby.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, that aggressive stance, as you were talking about. Again, in scrims, I mean, we are seeing some teams, kind of being aggressive. But in the past few days, we are seeing, not a lot of aggressive side from all these teams as well, including Zeus. I mean, in the PNPL, we saw them being so aggressive, but now in the scrims, it's kind of like completely a positive affair. It's like I'm actually surprised to see Zeus on like a first scare right now. I've never seen this team play so safe and so like sound. To be honest, I want to see that aggressive Zeus back again, and I want to see how they're going to be performing in the regional finals as well, because I want to see a glimpse of that.
So true, so very true, and I think we might just be able to see a little bit of that glimpse today, hopefully. Well, again, tomorrow is another day that will be available to these lads before we jump into those regional finals itself. But boy, oh boy, I mean, the regional championship is another conversation, because as you did mention, when you talk about scrims, it is just one of those opportunities that these teams can either showcase or experiment within themselves as to what and how will they play along with when it comes to individual maps and their gameplay. But eventually, those real strats is something that will be hidden in that secret book, and that will only be disclosed perhaps at one of those big events, like for example the upcoming regional championship.
Yeah, exactly. That's for true. That's for true. I mean, this is why we're saying in the scrims, you do not want to utilize your real strategy, especially the teams that have qualified. You want to keep them as secret as possible. Make sure you're not exposing them. If you do, then there are people that would want to tackle you down and that are going to be, you know, learning the gameplays from these scrims, learning to tackle you down, learning to take you down. At least you're perfectly your squad, like Zeus. I'm pretty sure a lot of teams are going to be having the eyes on Zeus because they do know currently they're the king of the hill. I mean, including DRS, they were the champions of PNPL, but still Zeus were like more kind of like the dominating one, and still they got a lot of limelight. This is the overall ranking looking like after game 6. DRS still on top with 72 points. Then we have Astra Academy, Deadeyes, Esports, and Zeus Esports. This is the top 5.
Absolutely. And again, when you talk about DRS, right? So final day number 2 that we witnessed in season 2 of these scrims is when on Miramar, of course, we saw match 5 as well as 6 go in DRS's favor. Back to back, they certainly got those chicken dinners. 11 kills in the 5th match, 12 kills in the 6th match. DRS was on a roll, because before that, it was Zeus that was leading the charts. Followed very closely was Astra Academy. So talking about consistency, well, Astra Academy is still on that 2nd spot. So that does kind of summarize the conversation about the Mongolian teams. But move that conversation on towards the 2nd page. And this is where we do have, well, one of those teams that we expected a lot more from. That's going to be CL Esports.
Yeah, that's for sure. CL Esports. I mean, the zone magnets, as we like to call them. I mean, this time it seems like their magnet is out of power. They'll need to recharge it back up. I'm pretty sure they will this time, maybe, because in the 14th position, you're not really looking good. You're not really comfortable. You want to make sure you're on at least the top page. Then you have a massive chance of coming back, at least in the top 3. But CL, maybe they can just get them back-to-back win, just like they did in PNPL, and just get themselves back up there. You never know.
That is true, mate. That is so very true and crucial as well, coming in for these lads. Now, talking about other teams, for example, were Train to Kill. Another wonderful turn of events when it was down towards the first week itself of these scrims, right? That's when we saw Train to Kill bring in those wonderful points for themselves. They did get the chicken dinner as well when it came down to the map of Sanhok, with 11 kills to them. So again, we might just be able to see this team perform and outperform the competition today, along with which 24th position holders right now, INES. This team also, when it comes to Sanhok, is pretty neat, mate.
Well, I mean, this team has been almost all the time on the struggling phases. I mean, even in the wrangle, they always got, you know, countered by Zeus, which is unfortunate. They like to go towards the George Pool area. Zeus dropped in there. They wiped him out. And, you know, INES started looking pretty shaky after that. You know, their confidence started dropping down as well. And the same thing happened in the PNPL as well with INES. And of course, it is quite unfortunate. INES is one of the old teams in their region. Of course, one of the teams that has a lot of experience as well. And you do not expect a team like this just going down that easily.
Most certainly going to be absolutely fair and square, the conversation coming in from that side. But along with which, of course, I'm just remembering that game that took place, I think on the 2nd week of PNPL it was, and that is where INES did drop on the map of Sanhok itself. They were on towards the northern eastern side of the map, and somehow the circle did favor them, and eventually, of course, as the conversation moved along, they were looking pretty comfortable, and I'm hoping that today might be one of those days where the circle ends up favoring teams like those, because the teams that are at the bottom half of that leaderboard, right? That's what I'm wanting to take the conversation towards. That hopefully those teams should be able to, rise and outshine the lobby today, because that's what will make the scrims that much more entertaining. You want to be able to see those backbenchers, at times just pull out strats that are going to be so awesome, that are just going to be like, wait, what? Wow, that is a GG play. And so many times backbenchers do that, don't you think?
Yeah, they do. And even in the past, we did see some backbencher surprises, especially in the BNPL as well. If you remember in the finals, Venom Legends, we did not expect them to win games, but they did, and we were absolutely shocked. We were like, what just happened? We did not expect. But now, as you did point out some, some games from the side of INES, I still remember one more game from the side of F4 on the same map of Sanhok. I think so. There were two teams alive. One was DRS, and one was 1952. Entry was still alive, and he was proning down the grass. The circle was on F4, and this is where F4 won that game. And maybe F4 now is, of course, Team QWERTY, so now maybe the same thing can happen, and maybe Team QWERTY can make a comeback.
Absolutely. That certainly is something that not only us, but the fans are certainly going to be eager to see as well, right? Because, again, we know that this team is really, really good when it bring it down to their comfort level, and as of now they've not really found that comfortable throughout the scrims thus far. Maybe it's just the synergy itself that is lacking, because again, when you try and break down those fights that they do end up taking, right, there is a lot of those conversations that seem to be faltering within the team itself when it comes down to approaching a fight or clearing a compound or whatever situation that they're in. So many times we see lads taking an individual approach. Khan, of course, being the IGL, is on the back end, but somewhere along the line it seems like Khan is not able to get the team together, and that is again, so never mind, that is just past conversation. Let's move on, and hopefully into the future, today itself, they will bring up a better fight. Now, moving that conversation towards another team is going to be PN Crew. PN Crew, another very, very good team that has been on point, along with which they have actually showcased, that consistency, the consistent approach that we talk about. What do you think about PN Crew and their approach to the games thus far?
Well, I mean, all I can say is just that one man from PN Crew, we have Sandesh. This man is so consistent with his performance. I mean, in the PNPL as well, he clutched out so many situations, and he got that incredible clutch where he was just dominating the entire lobby in the late game circle, and he was the last man alive for his team. And still, he clutched out like, I think so, 1v4 against the squad, and that was an absolute incredible moment for PN Crew in itself. And this is what I'm trying to say. Even Killer YT has had some incredible moments as well in the PNPL, in the PMCO as well. He was a man who got himself 13 kills solo in the PMCO all by himself, and I feel like that was the main reason why he got signed to PN Crew. And PN Crew overall team, I feel like they have a star lineup without any doubt. Each and every single player in their team is a star.
So true. Now, talking about stars, I do want to take the conversation towards A1 Esports. Certainly a really very well-knit team is what I would say. Now, that's one team that that actually does talk about, consistency, not necessarily thus far based on the games that they've had, but most certainly the synergy that they bring. A1 Esports, the team as such, right? The team itself together, all the 4 lads, they are always looking like, they are here to enjoy. They are certainly here to be a part of the game in the best way that they possibly can. Sadly, the games have not been in their favor, but hopefully now will be a turning point, because after all, the final day we witnessed them take that wonderful 11-kill game. Let's move on and jump into this saga and find out 3 games on Sanhok, which team is going to be coming up on top.
Exactly. Well, now here we go. The plane flight path already started. Well, seems like we're kind of late to the party here. But TDK, as you did say, the observers like to go towards them. And yes, we do have TDK on our screens right now, but as well as the map feed. As we see 7C approaching the Pineland area with them, we still have Vibes going towards, I think so, maybe Cam Charlie, because Pineland area for now seems pretty full. And take a look at the circle. It's like 20% of the circle is in the water side. So we still have, decent amount of land inside. That means, at least in the first circle, I'm not expecting a lot of fights happening unless there are fights happening in the drop zone.
All right, what I'm liking thus far is the fact that INES is down towards Kampong, and the circle certainly is going to be around them. So that's really, really good. Talking about teams that were on the western edge, we did see Seal Esports as all by themselves out towards there, and they are going to have to make that rotation. But once again, I mean, it is going to be a really small map, so not a bigger trouble when it comes down to the rotation, though. Seal Esports will have a lot of teams around them. And right here, we have some early skirmishes. Deadeyes Guys taking on the side of APES. And this is where APES could very well be nullified because one of the lads has already been, lost. Yep, there we go. We've got one lad who has been knocked, and that's going to be Logist. Right here, Shifu sir is all by himself. Lion as well as Reds are going to be pushing on along. And Shifu sir is going to be making a really sneaky back. Well, wow, just perfect. That's what was required actually. Before his backup of Pryde, that's exactly what was required from him.
Oh, here we go. The kills and the opening has been found, and this is where things might just crumble down for APES. And yes, it has. The world has crumbled down for APES, and Deadeyes are like, you are living in our world. You have no right to stay alive for now. And Deadeyes took them out without any trouble. I mean, there was a little bit of trouble on the side of Shifu, sir. Almost did get caught off guard, but his teammate was there. And this is what I like to see, a team synergy. Team coordination was so on point that the backup was there with no time. For now, again, another fight panning out. 7C locking horns against Blood Legion. The Blood Legion also being pretty cautious.
Certainly, I mean, Gyro right here looking like he wants to get into that fight, even though when you talk about the utilities, they haven't really got any. Talk about 7C's approach, they are most certainly going to be trying to back out of there and maybe even try and get on towards a better compound that they can call their own. True Love right there we saw was being fired upon, and a little bit of burst was actually dealt, and there was a little bit of damage as well. Now, talking about this team that is going to be 7C. This is a wonderful, aggressive team that when they do want to take a fight, they do not, they do not falter. But right here, it seems like it is going to be 7C's True Love who is caught off guard. There is XP. That is going to be Blood Legion's approach towards this fight. That is just on point. It has been sandwiched. True Love has been sandwiched in this situation, and he will be brought down and rather, in fact, killed as well as XP Blood Legion take on a kill and a point for themselves.
Exactly, they do. Blood Legion, I mean, we have seen a massive change in the strategy, change in the pace from this team, going from all the way aggressive to all the way passive. And sometimes the aggressive strategy, I really feel like most of the times when Blood Legion do play aggressive, it does work out. And I feel like if you have aggressive nature, utilizing it in game is no problem. You don't need to change it down. You don't need to tune your aggressive nature down. Maybe just try to be as strategic as possible, even while being aggressive, because that can help you out. Changing your play style sometimes, some people are just not suitable with it. And Blood Legion, I feel like somewhere down the line, this is the main reason why they're kind of on the struggling phases.
That is so very true. I mean, that is a conversation to be had actually, where we can bring up the point that, when it comes to the approach based on the individual tournament that you are a part of, it is really difficult for players at times to be able to, change that approach for the game. If you are aggressive, you are going to stick to your roots, and that is where some players do end up faltering down a little bit. But right here, as we get this fight moving on along, it seemed like Team QWERTY were on the back end, and they will probably be trying to push on along towards this fight as well.
That nade was pretty cold. Almost made it past that window. Maybe try and nade the second window. There's no point in nading the same window over and over again twice if you already know the first nade has cleared it out. Dominic, though, seems like sensing some blood next to him. He does know there's a prey, and he wants to hunt him down. Still playing pretty cautious, pretty safe. Just walking inside it is not going to be enough. Rick has been taken down by Dominic as well. Incredible spray from that Uzi, catching his skull off guard, just ripping it apart in 2 pieces. While 7C trying their best to get their teammates back in line as well. But it seems like Chef, this Molotov is going to be so damaging. He's taking quite a lot of damage. Damage is being chunked off. That Molotov was absolutely on point. And for now, it seems like Blood Legion are doing an incredible job keeping 7C on their toes.
beautiful fight being taken from the side of XB, because this is the team that we want to be able to see rack up those points for themselves. And what a beautiful way to take a fight on early into the game. It's only been 6 minutes, but we've got two teams that have been sent back into the lobby. And again, when you talk about the aggressive ones, the ones who took an aggressive stance, well, it seems like players are alive. So on the other tangent, when you move on towards the other side, it seems like Skylightz Gaming is in a bit of a tricky situation of their own, where they are being caught off guard as well.
Exactly, being caught off guard. She did mention, and I mean, it was not really like a flawless execution from the side of Blood Legion. There was still one casualty from that fight. And in early off, if you're just going to be down to a 3-man squad, then later on in the later games, you will have to, you know, kind of worry about, because the strategies that you've planned with a 4-man squad, now they are limited just to a 3-man. And you will have to find new ways to work around it. That means sometimes you might just fall onto the face with such kind of moments. At least moments are not really looking good on your side. But we see TDK take challenging fight against TUF this time. And this is going to be an interesting one because TDK, of course, I mean, has been a top-tier team, but TUF as well is giving a massive competition. It seems like one of the TUF player took down blah, blah, blah with that Tommy gun, and it looks pretty good.
Absolutely. There certainly seems like a little bit of trading going on over there between these two teams. That's going to be T2K and TUF. And as we can see again and again in the kill feed, exactly, dude. Once again, there was a lot happening in towards that side of the area of the map. But move that conversation towards what we've got on our screens. It is Skylightz Gaming, who have a lot of information for the individual lads of A1 Esports. A1 Esports is none the wiser as they are so far away. But blah, 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 TUF, T2K, where are the observers taking us? Where and why are we here next to Joker and ASL? I'm not entirely certain about this, mate. But to keep on along, it certainly did seem like TUF were bringing in aggression, but were not able to. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It's
Perfect.
too late now. It's to be honest, the situation is too late now. I mean, TDK is down to just a 1-man squad. TUF kind of made things way much more worse for TDK over here. TDK did get the opening frag for themselves with that Car 98, but then later on, just down to a 1-man squad. Quite an unfortunate moment for that team. They were kind of suffocating out TDK slowly and steadily, and it seems like TUF have successfully done that, at least for now. And TUF, though, I mean, again, TUF is kind of a squad which was in the starting phases. They weren't really looking good, you know, if you remember, in the back days. TUF wasn't really looking good in the scrims, but now it seems like if they're able to take down a massive or big squad like TDK, then I feel like they do have the massive caliber in them as well. But Observer did miss quite a lot of fights there.
Dude, I mean, it's just one of those moments, right? When you talk about it, because as we moved on along from the fight of A1 Esports and, of course, Skylightz towards TUF and T2K, we missed that fight. But as we did so, Sinister was actually knocked down from the side of Skylightz as well. So A1 Esports did take a knock, but I'm sure he must have been revived because all the players were right next to him. But move that conversation towards, well, a team that we have been calling being the consistent horses. It is none other than Stalwart Flex, who have already lost one of their lads, but will be looking pretty strong as they've got a lot of information for individual teams like Vibe and the others. But move it towards Vibe as well. Vibe is certainly looking down towards the side of Stalwart Flex. They've got all 4 lads alive, and right here we can see Prabeen trying to retain a lot of information, but does not really have so much of an angle to take on an early knock for the moment, just for the moment, because after all, when you talk about the circle has shifted a little bit again.
Circle shift is there. Still Vibes kind of separated out from the rest of the pack. Prabeen, though, need to be a little cautious because Jiggle is way too far away, and I'm pretty sure Jiggle's going to be the IGL of the squad as well. Being the IGL, I really feel like you should be playing in the back lines because you staying alive till the end is kind of like the main role. And if the IGL goes down early off, then it's more kind of like when he's trying to give out the calls, things don't really work out if IGL is not really there to, you know, point directions directly. So sometimes I feel like IGL staying alive till the end is kind of the main goal of the game. But Dominic, this time, getting caught off guard out in the open, has been taken down. Rest of the Blood Legion squad is not next to him. And this is exactly what I was saying. Separating out a little too much can sometimes put you in a massive trouble, because now they're not going to be able to go back and get the res onto him.
Most certainly, and with that, of course, this is Wolverine from QWERTY who seems to have confirmed that knock for the side of Dominic. There certainly was a player rushing on down towards Dominic to be able to, get him revived, and that is going to be good. But before this team can do anything,
look at this.
there seems to be Khan, who is not looking too good, as Raul has made a perfect push. But sadly, he has been knocked down as well. Boy, oh boy, Destroyer and the side of Team QWERTY are in real good control of this fight, of this entire hill, which could very well be theirs. They could very well be walking away with those 4 kills, but this has now turned into a stalemate.
The res onto Khan there was pretty close. He almost got Khan dead there if it did not stick. That Riddle, though, kind of being greedy in that fight and wanting to confirm that kill. I feel like he should have just hid behind that tree and maybe just waited out patiently. The kill's not going to run away anywhere because he is right in front of your sight. So maybe just hold out. Try not to be greedy, and this is where he got caught off guard and taken down by QWERTY. Greed is never a good thing. Note it down.
So true, mate. So very true. And having lost 2 lads now, XP Blood Legion are going to be taken back end from this fight. There certainly seems to be B1 who is going on towards a flanking angle. He seems to have found himself a compound, whereas Dominic out here in the open is going to be prying eyes towards Stalwart. But move that conversation towards TRZ and R3D. That is going to be another wonderful turn of events where TRZ have already lost 2 of their members, whereas R3D have only got 1 knock. That is going to be Virus, who will certainly be revived. But this has turned into an interesting event where TRZ versus R3D. It is a 4v3 situation right now, where R3D are at the receiving end. They are really low in terms of their players as well as the health department.
Exactly. For now, it seems like TRZ won't quite close. The last member might get taken down. Unfortunate moment for TRZ there. And R3D, I mean, of course, if you're just going to be the last member, just lurking around a full squad all by yourself, it's not going to be possible that you're just going to John Wick out that situation. It's most probably not possible.
True, it is certainly a difficult, how do you, but again, when you move on towards the map itself, towards the northern side of the map, that is where, when you talk about that solo man performance, that is where the solo squad of T2K's Rated Sir is going to be pushing on through. He is out in the open as he makes that rotation. TUF is very close to guarding that edge, but Rated Sir might be the one that we want to keep our eyes towards. Move that conversation towards A1 Esports, a team that we had been hoping will showcase a bit more of an awesome performance this time around, are in a fight where it is Stalwart Flex as well as Skylightz Gaming that they have got themselves sandwiched between. But right here it is Jax, who was almost caught. Joker, looking pretty comfortable, has not taken any damage thus far from the side of A1 Esports, but certainly is dishing out quite a lot of damage on towards the lads of A1 Esports. Sinister out in the open as well. I mean, again, no matter where you turn towards, Skylightz Gaming is the one that has the information, and A1 Esports is the one that is in their crosshairs.
Exactly. A1 Esports is there in their crosshairs. Skylightz Gaming as well. 1 player knocked out, 1 player absolutely dead. Just a 2-man squad for now, but the rest seems like this will be stuck onto Leon. So for now, problems are a little minimized on their side as well. Heaven there, kind of being the mother in the team, taking care of his teammates and running out in the open. I don't really like what he's doing over here. Maybe he can get caught off guard. Running out in the open is never a good thing. Voltrix, well, seems like things have turned around. The tables have been turned this time. And Team QWERTY is in quite a bit of pickle. And it seems like the last member of Blood Legion is creating quite a lot of trouble for them, causing quite a lot of ruckus. And it seems like the last member of Blood Legion, there's a massive chance he can single-handedly take down Team QWERTY.
Exactly, he certainly was able to get a little bit of lead pushed on through towards this towards the side of course Team QWERTY's Voltrix, and Destroyer is on the receiving end. B1 from Blood Legion is on point with those perfect burst damage coming in from this lad, and it is certainly going to be bringing down the side of Team QWERTY. But they have been knocked. They have not been sent back into the lobby, and that is what this lad is waiting for, because he wants to be able to get as many points as he possibly can for his team. He is very close to the circle, but the only thing separating him from getting into it is going to be Team QWERTY's one-man surviving and 2 lads down. But bring that conversation towards Stalwart Flex. This team is a 3-man army that has now moved on against the side of A1 Esports, and they also know that it was Skylightz Gaming. Oh, well, there is one team that is in the compound south of their location. So Stalwart Flex better be prepped and ready to take on that fight. Otherwise, it could be Stalwart Flex that might be in that sandwich situation that was A1 Esports a few minutes ago.
Exactly, that was A1 Esports a few minutes ago. Well, Blood Legion kind of hearing the sound cues from their side as well. Well, now it seems like B1 does know that QWERTY has taken an exit from that area, so B1 kind of being comfortable moving out the building as well. You know, just roaming around here and there, admiring the nature for now. But Stalwart, I8 seems like they're in quite a bit of trouble here. I8 needs some instant meds over here because, well, for now they are quite down bad. Because if you take a look at Funboy, even he doesn't have any kind of first aids, no med kits as well. So things are looking pretty certainly bad for them, including no boosters. I mean, this is a bad situation, taking the fact in consideration that this is still the mid game.
Absolutely, mate. We've got 13 teams remaining, 17 minutes into the game, and it is Stalwart Flex, Skylightz Gaming, and A1 Esports that seem to be stuck in this love triangle situation right next to this hill, and that is certainly working in favor of Skylightz Gaming because the most amount of cover that is going for any of these teams is going to be Skylightz Gaming. But when it comes to the information being retained, A1 Esports certainly has a lot of information as well. The only conversation is who will be getting that information converted into points, into kills. But on the other tangent, when you move on towards the circle, as we see the shift coming onto the map, we see Sealy Esports are in the center. It's a 3-man affair that has been brought on down from the side of Sealy Esports. We see Inky, Ankle, as well as Mun, who are the ones taking a lead in this game. As of now, they haven't really started off with any kill thus far, but the circle is favoring them. They are just keeping it to themselves because it's just a 3-man squad. Along with them is going to be very closely Vibe that will be in the circle.
Exactly. Vibes is there right next to them. Team QWERTY as well. Well, seems like hell is breaking loose onto them. Wartrick's getting shot from backlines. PN Crew this time causing quite a lot of ruckus for them, causing quite a lot of problem. And we do know PN Crew is a solid team, so challenging a fight against them, you will have to think twice. Team QWERTY, well, one player seems like has to be spotted out. Ayush missing quite a lot of shots there. I really feel like if he didn't miss those shots, that could have been an easy kill on his part at least. But Ayush trying to do that suppressive fire. He's trying to pour that suppressive fire onto the side of Team QWERTY. Just that is going to be at least scaring them away for now, but those nades are also doing quite a lot of damage from the rest of the members of PN Crew.
Absolutely, Ayush certainly has his teammate helping him. That's going to be certainly Legend, who was down. They were not able to revive him, but Legend was surviving. He was knocked, but he was certainly given a lot of information towards the side of PN Crew's players, and that worked out in for Killer as well as, of course, Sandesh and Ayush. Now, as they do bring in that rotation towards this fight, as they get themselves out of that tricky situation, it is going to be Team QWERTY standing up for themselves and bringing down one more lad of PN Crew.
Well, this is what I was saying. I was expecting Team QWERTY to play good today. And it seems like they have fallen true on my expectations. They're doing quite an incredible job for now, keeping a team like PN Crew on their toes. And Ayush taken down. PN Crew is already down to just a 2-man squad in such a late game, while Team QWERTY has still 3 players alive. Each and every single player matters, at least, especially this late in the game. Sundays, though, kind of posted up for success.
Exactly, the way these lads have placed themselves, right? QWERTY as well as Sandesh, they're in the circle, they're in the zone. That's going to be working for them. They certainly did lose their player. That's going to be Legend as well as Ayush. But nevertheless, as they move on towards the circle, this is where they could be bringing in trouble for the lads of Team QWERTY if Team QWERTY decides to enter the zone exactly from that area. But move the conversation towards INES, a team that we did mention might just be able to get some good gameplay from this time around. Yeah. They are against Deadeyes, 2 lads, Hungry Box and Shifuso.
Well, they did quite an incredible job. Got down 2 guys from Deadeyes here. Hungry Box doing his best, trying to keep them on their toes, but no is going to be the answer. Did manage to get 2 knockdowns. Well, now it seems like INES would want to make sure that the 2 players are crawling inside the zone, and then the rest will, of course, be stuck onto them from their side. INES clutch. and INES Skylightz are going to be the saviors of their squad for now. All 4 men alive this late in the game. INES is looking pretty strong.
Oh yes, with the 5 kills that they've got, the 5 points that they've got in terms of numbers also working in their favor. Once again, I mean, when you talk about our pre-game segment, it certainly does seem like Necro, there was a lot of conversation in there that was on point. A lot of these teams that were, so to say, the backbenchers up until now in the scrims have picked up their pace beautifully, have showcased a lot of dominating plays, eh?
Exactly, without any doubt. All the backbenchers finally stepping up, including TUF as well. Well, still alive in the game. I mean, sticking to their metal, sticking to what they like to do, play as passive as possible, go for the compounds that are inside the circle, and Seal are doing that perfectly. The circle is even favoring them, and maybe if the prayers are with them as well, they might just be able to get the chicken dinner in their hands. I like how Seal is separated out in those compounds. One player in each house. Even if any player is getting executed, the other players can provide the cover fire, and then maybe the guy inside the house will be able to, survive for longer. But so many fights happening as the circle is breaking down. A lot of these teams are definitely not going to be happy with their performance, especially APES Esports Sinister. He's kind of putting a lot of pressure on the players of INES, instilling pressure and fear, raining down death and destruction. Last man alive, Newty, barely surviving, but he's taking quite a lot of zone damage as well, and Newty has been taken down.
Boy, oh boy, of course it was A1 Esports Sinister, the last man surviving, who was able to get a few more points converted into kills. Converted kills into points is what I mean to say. But eventually, of course, you're walking away with those kills as well as points. And that is what the end of the story is going to be for the side of A1 Esports. Move the conversation towards INES. Clutch is the only man surviving. Now, earlier, we did see a skirmish take place between the lads of PN Crew as well as Team QWERTY. Team QWERTY held themselves towards the edge of that hill, but of course, PN Crew, we saw them slowly and steadily rush on down, and as they did so, they walked straight in the crosshairs of Seal Esports, and Seal Esports beautifully were able to bring that team down. Now, in our kill feed, we can certainly see that's exactly what's taken place for Wolverine as well. As he tried to get into the zone, it was Seal Esports that has knocked him down and sent him back into the lobby as well. So Seal Esports looking comfortable with 4 points.
I like how Seal is playing for now. They did have the compound for themselves. Now they will need to move. They'll need to move outside their comfort zone, step outside their comfort zone, and finally move out in the open. This is where they might just get caught off guard as well. But Inky, though, found himself quite a safe route. Did spot one player out of vibes there. A good spot out skill right there. Eagle eye, as I like to call it. Inky, he has some incredible eyes on him. Heaven, though, he kind of straight past Heaven. Heaven is doing kind of the heal battle over here. Heaven did spot out the man from Seal and took him down, kind of briefing the game out for them. And Seal is definitely not going to be happy after such kind of an elimination. Or maybe it's not. He's getting the res.
Oh yes, but I mean, he was knocked, and of course the team's players were certainly there. That's going to be for the side of Seal Esports, but move the conversation towards what has turned out to be an incredible day number 3 for all these teams, because it is Vibe surviving. We've got 4 teams alive. INES Clutch, the final man surviving for the side of INES. Vibes, we still have all 4 members alive with 5 kills to this team's name. Looking pretty comfortable inside the zone. They've got the information. They've got the rocks working in their favor. Only thing is, how exactly is Seal Esports going to be entering? They are a 2-man army going up or trying to go up against Vibe. On the other tangent is going to be TUF. They are a bit out far, but they do have the cover, and that is what is working for them. Whereas on the other side for Seal Esports, sheesh, that's not the case.
That's definitely not the case. Well, now TUF, though, raining out quite a lot of nades here and there, those smoke grenades as well, kind of providing them the wall of cover. Ankle still alive from Seal. Last man surviving, last man strong, 1 man standing strong from that squad. Vibes, though, spotting the rotation out from the side of TUF. Quad, a desperate rotation from their side. 1 man is on the right side, 1 man is on the left side. Jiggle, is he going to be expecting the left side flank? Because the guy on the left is kind of anonymous for now, but ESP has been taken down finally. Now TUF as well in a massive heap of trouble. Vibes is dominating the entire late-game circle. They have all their 4 players alive, and this nade is going to be so damaging. Took down 2 players all by himself. Vibes is on their knees right now. It's a 1-on-4 situation, and finally it seems like the last man from TUF has been taken down. Now it's just down to Seal Ankle. How is Ankle going to be able to turn this situation in his favor?
He is certainly looking in control, and as he brings on that perfect crosshair control, now is what he shall get, because Vibe Esports, a 4-man army, was brought down to 1, but that 1-man strong was enough to take down the final player of Seal Esports. Beautiful turn of events, incredible play from all of these top 7 teams that we're looking at on our screens, where of course it was Vibe with a lot of control in that final circle, but boy, oh boy, we cannot get that conversation away from, of course, Seal, TUF, I mean, INES. They were all looking pretty comfortable and confident, I would say.
Exactly. Well, I mean, Seal and TUF has the same amount of kill for themselves. And I'm pretty sure on the leaderboards, I mean, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. Vibes on the top, Seal on the second, and then TUF on the third. While the rest of the teams like A1 Esports, PN Crew, TDK, Deadeyes, fell off short this time. Fell down early. I mean, the big mammoths taken down early off, which is quite interesting, including I8. I mean, I don't really know what exactly is happening with I8, right? I'm not really seeing their main roster playing inside these scrims.
True, that is so very true indeed. Because again, I mean, the way they actually approached so many of those interesting fights, it was more like a platter being handed over to them. It wasn't some one of those moments or one of those plays that we've seen, in the IGLing of Khan. The kind of clutches that he's able to bring out from his team members are phenomenal. The ferocious, in fact, would be the word for the lads. But eventually, again, this time around, it's more like they just walking along and they come across a few of those fights and they're like, all right, you know what, let's walk in and get a few more kills. It was good. It certainly was good. Nothing taken away from them. But they do need to bring up a lot more of that aggressive stance if they want to be, working towards getting in the top page of this leaderboard. Top 3 is what I'm looking at basically for this team.
That's true. That's for sure true. I mean, especially inside these scrims, if you're aiming for the top spot, if you're going for the money, I really feel like teams like Stalwart Esports, which is now I8. I mean, it's not I8, but like the players that are playing are now I8. That's what they're called. But now I really feel like I8 should have their main lineup playing in these scrims. If you're at least going for those $1,000, if you want to back those $1,000 in your hand, you should be playing with your main lineup because they are probably the ones who are most experienced.
True. That is going to be really, really crucial as well when it comes down to the lads that are going to be playing for your team. You better not have any experimentation going on along on that side or on that front. But once again, I mean, we have seen that be the case when it comes down to the scrims as well. And you cannot really shy away from those moments because if not now, then when? Right? That is what ends up becoming the conversation, that when else are we allowed to have those experiments? When else will be allowed to have those experiments, especially when we play against these sort of pro teams? But bring that conversation towards the pro players coming in from this game that stood out. The top players are going to be Clutch from INES. The final man surviving was able to walk away with 5 kills from this game.
I mean, INES did rack up quite a lot of kills in that previous game. A1 Esports as well, Sinister. I mean, I cannot forget and talk less about this man. I really feel like this is one of the best players. I mean, including RX Jax as well. In the squad of A1 Esports, Sinister and RX Jax are just absolutely dominating one without any doubt. Then we have Moonu69 coming in, and then we have Jiggle coming in from the Vibes Esports with only 3 kills. Jiggle being the IGL. Well, Jiggle is kind of an IGL. Jiggle and Khan sometimes are kind of the IGLs who do like to be aggressive, but mostly Jiggle, it's like in each and every single fight, you're going to be seeing Jiggle on that aggressive page.
That is so true. That is so very true coming in from the side of Vibe. But eventually, as this game has been brought down to its knees, this was game number 7 of the Pro Scrim Season 2 by Nodwin Gaming, and things are looking good. Things are looking really good. I mean, from XP Legion to R3D to A1 Esports, INES, TUF, we've got the best of the best names right here in the top page. Move that conversation towards the second page of the leaderboard. Right here, we see Team QWERTY on the 9th position with the 4 kills that they were able to get for themselves. Deadeyes Guys, we also saw them bring in that early kills and those early fights that they got into, thus resulting in them walking away with those 4 kills and 1 placement point. So working A-OK. PN Crew did shy away a little as they were not able to, get some good fights during the game. And when it did come down to those fights, that is the one that we saw them take against Team QWERTY and then finally walk into the crosshairs of Seal Esports.
Exactly. Well, I mean, these were the match rankings, and now I want to move on to overall rankings and see how things are looking. Vibes, of course, taking a spot from DRS and moving on the top place. #1 I mean, the kind of name changes, I mean, I really feel like even the name changes have gotten a massive confidence boost in the lads of Vibes, and now they're doing an incredible job in the overall rankings as well. DRS on second, Deadeyes, Astra, Zeus. I mean, nothing really much changed, but we still have Avon Esports though on 7th position.
Exactly, that is so true. And talk about CL Sports, they have jumped up as well onto the 10th position, and this is looking pretty neat for these teams that did just end up playing their 5th game, and this is looking good. This is looking real good. But move this conversation towards the final, or rather the second half of the leaderboard, where we have the next remaining teams lined up. That is where the conversation is going to get a little tricky, because I do want to be wanting to talk about teams that are, as of now, of course, having played 5 games, they have started slowly and steadily moving on along into the conversation and getting those points. But in terms of those points, they are still so far away. Like, for example, XP Blood Legion, 14 points is what they've got. Stalwart, only 14 points once again.
Well, I mean, Stalwart, though, kind of falling back. Unfortunate moment for them. And, well, I mean, things are looking pretty tricky for them. If they want to make a comeback, games are slipping away from your hands, and you need to close your fists tight. You want to make sure you're not letting them slip away that easily. Each and every single game, each and every single moment, each and every single second, you have to make it count. And each and every single step, you have to watch out. And I do know you guys are one of the best. Let's start taking the competition a bit serious. Let's start playing as if this is PMPL, and let's start dominating the field. There's no problem in that.
True, that is so true. With that, we've got 1 game done for the day. 2 still remain. Of course, they're going to be all taking place on Sanhok. But with that, we're going to go on a very, very short break, lads. Sitting back at home, do not forget to showcase all your love towards the teams that you're following into the chat. With that, we're going to be going on a very, very short break. Be right back.
Mobile. Players may encounter titans during a match, just like in the movies. Let's learn more about the all-new game modes, shall we? Titan Strikes. The Titan Strikes mode introduces 3 titans to Erangel, Sanhok, and Livid. Godzilla and Kong move along designated routes across the map. Players can chase after them in vehicles, but if you get too close, you'll be knocked down and take damage. When titans get ready to unleash a heat ray, the system will prompt players to leave the red zone marked on the minimap. Players equipped with high-level armor receive reduced damage from the heat ray. Titans will absorb energy which emanates gradually from the earth. Once the energy reaches a certain threshold, titans release it and create titan crystals around them. Different types of titan crystals provide different effects. Erangel's blue titan crystals are special throwable items that players can equip. They knock back and burn enemies who are behind cover. Sanhok's gold titan crystals enhance players' abilities, making you run faster and jump higher. Livik's red titan crystals give players the ability to detect enemies nearby for a brief period of time. These enhancement items give players an edge in battle. Use them and bring the chicken dinner home. With the help of Titan Crystals, players have even more unique tactics to achieve victory. Godzilla and Kong roam Erangel and Sanhok respectively, and players may bump into them on Spawn Island. Players can preview the Titan's route on the minimap, along with Apex Cybernetics, and low, mid, and high-level monster settlements. Apex Cybernetics are scattered along the Titan's route, which contains many valuable supplies. However, players can only enter the facility after a Titan has destroyed the base. Players that arrive early will not be able to get into the highly fortified Apex camp. At the same time, defeating different monster settlements rewards good supplies. Monster settlements are mainly occupied by lizards and crabs. Players can use a diversion to divide and conquer. The monsters are big, so using a shotgun at close range can deal huge damage. Players must also be wary of the Titan's attacks. Although they're not hostile towards players, they get irritated when there's too many players around. The Titan on Livik has unique electromagnetic abilities that affect the blue zone and cause it to shift every once in a while. Now, players must pay constant attention to the new play zones and transfer immediately when they begin to shrink, as to ensure they're not swallowed by the blue zone. Furthermore, Mechagodzilla periodically scans an area of the safe zone and marks the locations of everyone in the area on the minimap. This urges players to transfer or engage their enemies. Players must be extra careful. The Titan Strikes game mode is based on Battle Royale. Players must strive to be the last one standing amidst battling other players and Titans. With the addition of Titans, players are ready to witness their majesty and get their hands on the mysterious Titan crystals. Enjoy the all-new Titan Strikes and experience the earth-shattering might of the Titans.
Hello and welcome back once again to PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims 2021 by Nordvan Gaming. This is going to be Season 2's day number 3. That is where we're at. Day number 3 is where we're at. We started off with this first game that was just completed on Sanhok. Moving on along, of course, we still have 2 more games remaining. And Necro, what should be the expectation now? Because after all, the groups are going to be changing.
The groups are definitely going to be changing, and this is where Zeus makes their entry. This is where the ground starts shaking. This is where the earthquake happened, and I want to see how Zeus is going to be performing. I mean, of course, the gods of thunder, as we like to call them. But we still have few more teams coming in as well, and we still have a way much more competition for Zeus going in, especially Astra Academy. I mean, they have been doing an incredible job, you know, keeping up to Zeus as well. And we still have teams like DRS chiming in along as well. I mean, they're definitely going to be pulling Zeus's legs at least a little bit.
Most certainly, dude. Most certainly. There's no two ways about it. That when it comes down to DRS approach, Astra Academy's approach, Zeus's approach to the entire scrims, it is looking on point. No two ways about it. I mean, that is where the conversation will move on towards which side is the zone going to go towards, which side is going to be or rather, which team is going to be favored by the zone based on their drop location. And again, that is also debatable, right? Because we have seen at times teams that are in the center of the zone, looking comfortable, looking strong, are not able to walk away with that chicken dinner or even decent amount of kills for that matter, because they just keep waiting for the other teams to move along. And as the other teams move along, there's just so much that happens before anything that they can do. They've been wiped out, and that is the conversation that has happened many times. But in all of this, the moment that I do want to talk about from the previous game is Seal Esports. Final lad almost was able to walk away with that chicken dinner, dude.
He was almost able to walk away. I mean, to be honest, he did take one player down. I mean, TUF Edgar did quite an incredible job taking 2 players down. Edgar was taken down by that team, and then there was a Seal in the back lines. He did take down 1 player, then there was one last man surviving from that team, and then he barely almost took him down, but still, I mean, they just got the game in their hands. They just had the man advantage.
They did. So true. That is so true.
Vibes.
Had Seal Esports actually had a 4th member, that is where Vibe got the upper hand, because Seal Esports did not have a 4th man. Well, he was not even in the lobby. He did not even join. So that is where the game actually walked away from them. But eventually, when you talk about the points that they walked away with, it was pretty decent. 12 points with 5 kills, looking comfortable for them. Move on along the conversation towards Vibe. They were just the war horses, simply put. No two ways about it. They were in a domination streak when it came down to the entire match. So comfortable turnover wins when it came to the first game. Moving on along into the second match. Now, this is where things are going to get a little dicey, because this is where we reach the middle ground, the intermission for these teams and the play. Because after this game, we shall know how big a difference are the backbenchers creating for themselves compared to the leaders of the table for the moment.
Exactly. I mean, I really feel like for backbenchers to create a massive difference against leaders, I mean, it's going to be a tough thing. Each and every single game, as I did say, will have to count. And they will have to play really cautiously, at least try to get the chicken dinner, at the same time rack up a lot of kills. And it's not going to be an easy job, considering that you're a backbencher and you're not really able to perform, that means your mental
Yes.
state is not really there. You're mentally down. You're mentally downgraded as well. You're like, okay, I'm not able to perform against these top teams. And automatically, when you're not really doing good, your mental state, your mental health also, starts degrading. Because especially considering the fact in the game, your mental state has to be the best. At least you need to feel fresh and good.
So true, mate. So very true. Now, bringing that conversation towards teams to point out, we did actually mention a few of those teams before we went along with the break. That was, let's bring the conversation back. That is going to be starting off, I think it was Stalwart that we were looking at with 20 points, right? 20 points is where they were stuck at as of now. Another point is going to be perhaps Team QWERTY. They have started showcasing that wonderful aggression, but they do need to do so much more. But alongside that, let's get into this game for the day and find out for ourselves where are these teams going to be taking us, as we have new names on our screens. We see INES go down towards Kampong as they did in the previous game as well. DRS, Mr. Boroboro, Nima, they are all going to be moving on down towards the Camp Bravo region from the looks of it.
Yeah.
High Voltage as we move on towards the left-hand side or western side of the map. We have High Voltage taking a real quick and early dive towards Camp Alpha. South is where we have Vibe all by themselves, looking good. But one name that I completely forgot to mention is going to be God's Reborn is right there, dude. In the southern region as well.
Yep. And look at the circle. Look at the circle. It's like 60% is in the water, and just the rest is, kind of outside. And, it's still creating kind of a mystery. Is the circle going to be shifting on the left side or either on the right side? And already we have APES opening things up on this game. This time it seems like they're going to be pretty unstoppable already. P and Crew kind of down bad right now. They're not really looking good in the position they've already got for themselves. Another fight happening at the same time. Futurestation challenging a fight against R3D. One player has been taken down from the side of Futurestation. For now, Futurestation are not really looking good. On the struggling phases until now, R3D are doing an incredible job holding this compound off. Walker is there to provide that cover while Reviews is still barely alive.
1.5 minutes, 2 minutes into the game, we've already got casualties taking place from the entirety of this lobby, and this is looking phenomenal. On the other tangent of this entire lobby, we do have P and Crew stepping up the aggression as well, as they bring down two lads from the side of the aggressive stance that APES took against them, but in that doing so have resulted in perhaps getting basically two kills for both those teams. But bring that conversation towards once again Futurestation as well as R3D. This is where Futurestation are looking in control. What wonderful play this was from this team as they brought down the side of R3D. But in doing so, they have also been at the receiving end. It is Joker and Magnet trying to take a fight, but they have no utilities right now. Slowly and steadily, Futurestation's team is being brought down. There's only one man surviving, and Joker is not wanting to back down. Sharp, he has all the reins in his hands for the moment. He's taken the entire team outside to be able to get Joker's push, aggressive stance, walking away, taken away from him. But will Joker be able to showcase this? No, he will not. And the final lad. Whoa, what a perfect turn of events. The final lad for R3D was so far away, nothing he could do. But move the conversation again. I mean, what beautiful start to the game. We've got fight after fight after fight.
Exactly, fights after fights after fight. Yeah. Astra Academy, one player taken down top. Seems like not really having the time of his life. Godless as well, getting punished for his mistakes. Y'all kind of on that flank angle on the side of Astra Academy. Y'all needs to make sure his position is not given away that easily. Using that UMP in such kind of fights this time can maybe punish him off guard. Maybe can catch him off guard as well. But it does have that hip fire accuracy going on. So y'all might just have a little advantage inside this fight. Maybe a little push up from the side of Astra Academy, and yes, he did. And finally, seems like Zyal is putting in a lot of work inside this fight. Astra Academy doesn't really seem pretty good. Zyal took down two players all by himself, and this is where Astra Academy is crumbling down on their knees.
Perfect strafing coming in from the side of Zyal. Well, finally, he was actually taken down from the side of Pika of the two of this team of perfect turn of events. I mean, Astra Academy, they did lose out a lot of their players, but TRZ has jumped into this fight. They are part of this perfect compound, and that is going to be converting into a fight that Pika is most certainly not wanting to take. Once again, on the receiving end, it is going to be Apes, where P and crew are bringing in some controlled aggression towards Apes side, where one more lad has been sent back into the lobby. So if my count is right, Apes is left with only one man survive. And on the other tangent for P and crew, even though they were at the initial receiving front, they did bring down and they did showcase a bit more of retaliation for the aggression that was showcased from Apes, and beautiful turn of events that seems to be in favor of P and crew for now. But we shall see when observers choose to move us down towards that location of the game. Right now, we're only 5 minutes in, down to 48 players, 15 teams in front of our screens.
15 teams in front of our screens. Nate's kind of prepped for this fight. It seems like Apes, unfortunate positioning there, opting out to swim out. He does know is kind of not really comfortable in the position that he's right now. So maybe, you know, try and play it out a little safe. And this is where Astra Academy gets absolutely rolled by the side of TRZ. No mercy from their side, because that was just the last man alive. Tried to escape out that situation. Looked pretty cute, but he just took him down there like, okay, we don't care. We are merciless and we're going to take you down. We need that 1 kill point.
Absolutely, and 7C, of course, I mean, they did not have a decent turn of wins, but for now, they are the ones in control of this aggression. We can see Sandesh from P and crew hiding behind that small little bridge to not let this team, this aggressive stance from 7C, know that there is one more man that they could convert into a point. Moving on down towards R3D, Shaw was trying to showcase a bit of aggression, but it is thanks to Futurestation's Magnet, who was able to receive the exact position that this lad Shaw was bringing in that domination, and eventually was able to walk away with one more kill. So right now Futurestation is also looking pretty comfortable and strong with 4 kills to themselves, as they did start off that early fight. This is turning into a real bloodbath for so many of these teams in the second game of the day.
Second game of the day. Things not really looking good on all these sides as well. Magnet still alive. Futurestation is looking pretty good for now, including Team QWERTY. Well, it seems like Ultra does have the sights locked on their side as well. Vibes taking little shots here and there on the side of God's Reborn. You want to make sure you're challenging the top leaderboard squad right now. And God's Reborn seems like they're not scared of anyone. Taking one player down. The IGL has been taken down. This is where Vibes might just be a little paralyzed.
That is so true, mate, because right now we can see Vibe has already lost one of their lads. It is only 3-man strong army that we can expect from the side of Vibes to showcase some retaliation. But for the moment, they are going to be backing out of that position and out of that perfect controlled aggression. But move the conversation and have a look at Team QWERTY. That once again, we do want to be able to see walking away with a lot of points and a lot of kills. For now, are going to be hunkering themselves down to this compound. Futurestation is going to be right next to them. And Futurestation, well, as of now, they do not have a lot of information about this entire compound. And if at all, there is any team, in fact, that is in that compound, bring that conversation towards rotations. And it is Portal Esports. Portal Esports just perfectly placing themselves onto the southern edge of the map itself, and just perfect turn of events, because nobody is going to be there. And correction, they're not southern, but actually northern western part of the map, because that is where the circle is taking these teams, and there is no team out there. So going to be working in that lads and that team's favor. Kandesh right here, the final lad for PN2. He does have 2 kills for, well, 1 kill and 1 more kill that was, of course, gotten from the fight that this team initially was a part of. But eventually, he wants to bring that number up. He wants to be able to get into a few more fights. And interesting, why did he decide to take up a fight right here in the open? Of course, he was right next to this bridge for the longest time. He was able to get a knock as well right there, where it is 7C on the receiving front. But Chef and Rig, as they bring their perfect control aggression towards the side of Sandesh, it is going to be third party, where Apes Brat, he walks out of one fight, gets into another. Apes Brat might just be able to take this kill from 7C.
They might just be able to snatch it away from them. Apes, sorry, my bad. Apes still kind of on those edges there. And it seems like they're not really, in the mood of challenging the fight anymore. Backing out from that situation. 7C Chef didn't know. I mean, he doesn't really know if there's anyone on that hilltop, so he doesn't really want to expose his body directly because there's still a little chances that maybe one player will be taken down by the side. So 7C trying to play it out as safe as possible. Surroundings are pretty clear from the side of 7C, so they should relax out a little bit.
Again, I mean, what we're looking at right here, Brad is the only man surviving for his team, right? Apes, Sandesh was the only man surviving for the side of PN Crew, yet they did not want to back down. These lads who are a one-man squad, a solo army, do not want to back down and want to be able to walk away with more kills, with more points. And that is a really interesting thing to be able to see. But right here, it seems like Apes Brat might be caught because TRZ's players are so very close. It seemed like the way FPS, the final lad right next to the cap, was looking down towards Apes Brat. It seemed like he knew, but he is none the wiser, and Apes Brat is going to be surviving for the moment. Moving on along from one fight to the other, he is looking comfortable. Also comfortable based on the fact that he is in the circle. He is in the zone.
Exactly. Is in the zone. I mean, Brat is kind of like the sniper, just, posted in those jungles inside the bushes, making sure no one's kind of spotting him out. And for now, Brat is looking good, at least for now. But TRZ here, we have TRZ on our screens inside the circle, kind of looking good in this situation they have gone for themselves. But they're kind of surrounded by some squads in nearby vicinities. Of course, Brat being the one. If Brat gets spotted, then maybe things are going to be looking pretty tough for him, because considering the fact that he's the last man alive, each and every single team would want that free kill. I mean, a 1-on-4 competition is pretty much tough, especially each and every single team is pro. Then, things are going to be a little tougher, and on the side of TRZ for now. God's Reborn trying to cross the bridge all out in the open. I don't really know if this is going to be a good strategy. You might just get pinned down. You need a vehicle when you're trying to cross a bridge, because walking, I don't really know. Your body is a little too exposed.
It most certainly is, and this team is also outside the zone. We can see that there's still 150 meters that they do need to cover before they get into the comfort of the zone. But that 150 meters is certainly going to be duplicating, because there's only 10 seconds remaining for the third circle shift to be jumping into this game. Moving that conversation towards Vibe. Vibe is also on the run. They've got 130 meters to cover, but right here, that is going to change as the circle will be restricting itself further and further away. Seems like Vibe are walking towards... Wow. It is either going to be God's Reborn that might just be able to take these perfectly placed bait from Vibe in the river, or it is going to be one of those situations where no team is going to be able to spot each other, and they will be able to make that rotation perfectly. But it seemed like that might not be the case. Let's see actually.
Let's just see how things are going to be panning out or working out in their favor. God's Reborn made it quite safe and sound for now. Even on the bridge, seems like none of the teams were actually camping the bridge out. So for now, they will be pretty safe and lucky. But Futurestation going head-to-head against the side of TRZ. Futurestation 1952. It seems like they're not really interested in challenging the fight head-on. Magnet backing off, including entry, trying to play it out as safe as possible in the situations that they are posted right now. TRZ Mamba took a little damage in that fight. TRZ do not really realize where exactly Futurestation is situated. They just know they have left the compound, so maybe they're guessing that they're behind that rock as well. Magnet finding the right moment to strike, took down one player, and incredible precision from his side as well, healing himself back up. He does know Mamba is right behind those doors, right behind that window as well. Take a look at what Magnus has done. He has managed to sneak past each and every single enemy from their side. TRZ for now seems like they're pretty much in a real confusing situation, in a real bad situation. They need to save the knockdown teammate as well, and it seems like Magnet is thirsty for blood. He needs to get the last teammate down. He needs to confirm the kill. He needs to secure the kill, finding one kill for himself, kind of peeking out, bobbing and weaving. He took down 3 players all by himself, and Mamba finally puts an end to his domination.
If only Entry was able to throw that nade or whatever that he had planned, it would have been a perfect annihilating play coming in from the aggression showcased by TRZ, or rather against them, because what a beautiful turnover event it could have been, because Futurestation's Magnet, that lad held his strong, and that was just nothing wanting to defeat him, apart from, of course, the rush coming in from these two players. That's going to be Mamba as well as FPS. Beautiful turnover wins, actually, where TRZ's all 4 members are still alive. They are going to be walking away with those kills, walking away with those points as they get themselves comfortably positioned towards the zone, towards the circle. But talking about the circle is where the conversation shall move towards, where Team QWERTY, right here we can see, are towards the northern edge, the northern eastern edge of the game for the moment, and it is DRS that's going to be pretty close to this team.
It's going to be pretty close to this team. Voltrix, well, doesn't really know what's really going on in the surroundings, but still being extra cautious. DRS in the front lines. Nemo spotted out. Seems like QWERTY is just going to be locking them in their sights. Khan, that's kind of smart him out. Does know what exactly is going on around him. So that's a good thing for Khan, at least for now. Destroyer in the enemy lines. You want to make sure if you're challenging a fight against a squad like DRS, it better be well planned.
That's so very true, because again, I'm in Team QWERTY. Yes, all 4 members are alive. We've got Khan on a completely different trajectory altogether, but DRS Gaming's player, he is holding his ground, and this is where Team QWERTY will want to be so much careful, because they do not want to be able to give away any of the information. But how exactly will they approach? Because the circle is not really favoring this position for now. It is looking okay for Team QWERTY, but as we move on along, the circle will certainly be moving away from them, and that is where Team QWERTY are going to have to make that rotation. But if DRS decides to hunker down on that hill, that will make it really difficult for Team QWERTY to be able to do so. Move that conversation towards another side, where we have 7C and INES Rig right here, who certainly has heard the footsteps and has the audio cue of a team being around him, is certainly going to be keeping himself down to the ground. His 2 lads, his 2 teammates are on the back end, but INES as well are not pushing along. They are just maintaining that position. So many of these teams, they are in the zone, but they are just maintaining that position. So many of them are out in the open as well, but they do not want to be moving away from the comfort that they found even in those open locations. Interesting.
It's pretty understandable. It's pretty understandable. It does make sense as well. You do not want to be, just moving out directly. Maybe just watch your surroundings out sometimes. INES, spotting out 7C. Smoke kind of out in the open, making that risk rotation. Make sure you're not overexposing your body, and then maybe you're good. It doesn't matter what kind of rotation you're making. As long as you're safe, well, it seems like Smoke has been spotted out, set by Salu. Salu is like a poster of assassin, playing it out so safe. He does know second player as well, where he is. But there's one player in the backlines, Rig. Rig might just rig his gameplay away. Salu, you need to be careful, because you have gotten just 2 players knocked out. There's 1 player still in the backline, kind of missing the shots here and there. Shift needs to be a little careful as well. Well, now it seems like 7C tables have been flipped in the favor of INES. The world has started to collapse.
Stalwart, what a play that was, dude. What an incredible play that was. No 2 ways about it. Just having that perfect positioning, yes, but along with that, patience working in this lad's favor. Stalwart held his ground strong. He saw a rotation coming in from the player of 7C, but he did not know that there was Rig right next to him. Thank God he did not bring in that barrage of lead towards the rotation being made towards 7C's player, because he would not have known that Rig was on the right-hand side of Stalwart's position. He waited patiently, allowed the rotation to happen. That is when Rig fell back from the position that he was at. All 2 members gave that positioning away, and Stalwart, well, again, he was just so on point with those perfect controlled aggression and burst that he got those kills. Beautiful turnover wins right there. Move the conversation towards DRS. Now, DRS is a 2-man army for now. AJ and Boro, who are looking comfortable for now, but they're going to have to make that rotation as they try and get into the circle.
Mr. Boro, well, smells the blood and pushes here. DRS, well, the confidence level this time seems like is pretty high in prime. PES as well. Well, I mean, in this bracket, we have PES back, Portal Esports, and I want to see Mom2 back in action. I want to see that man dominate the field. while Venom Legends have gotten themselves a pretty good compound, kind of separated out from each other. And I like that. Separating each other out from a different compound, every person having an individual compound sometimes does work out. And sometimes things might get tricky if the enemy is just way too good and they just decide to figure out a strategy.
That's true. I mean, we did see PUBG Esports bring in that water rotation, and that has certainly worked in their favor. But the compound that they found for themselves is also being shared with Venom Legends players. And on the other tangent was, of course, Vibe Esports as they made that rotation into the zone. Now, here we are, of course, going to be looking at DRS and High Voltage. High Voltage is certainly away from the action, but not for long, as Extreme brings in some perfectly controlled, perfectly dominated. Oh, well, again, I mean, I just want to see who was able to knock down, because I saw that in the kill feed, but I was not quick enough to see High Voltage's action was towards who, was towards what. But never mind, we do know that they are in the fight, and that's going to be good. And Assassin right here, as they also are seemingly wanting to take down Vibe.
Wanting to take down Vibe. Assassin, though. Nades were lopped in, not really finding any success with those nades. High Voltage need to be a little cautious because they are challenging a team like Vibes. And you want to make sure you're being as cautious, as at least if you're challenging a fight against a team like Vibes. They are the overall leaderboard's topper. And that nade was meant for precision. And it is going to be finding its mark. High Voltage Cloud taken down. What an incredible nade. Did cover quite a lot of distance, but it doesn't matter. The precision on these lads is just on another level. Another man of High Voltage kind of giving away a lot of sound cues. You want to make sure you're not really giving away a lot of sound cues in such kind of situation, because it just tells your opponent that you're kind of on a panic mode right now, and they might just punish you out without any trouble.
Well, this has turned into an interesting turn of events where, of course, we've got High Voltage trying to take the compound away from Vibe, but Vibe is looking pretty sophisticated in terms of their approach towards this, towards holding down this compound for themselves. And it is Manish reading another nade, and this is going to be Cloud, Cloud as well as Manish, who are going to be working towards getting those nades, but it is Manish who will probably be looking at another. What a perfect nade coming in from Vibe. I mean, Vibe, Malik, Manish, both of them, the nades have been so on point, thus bringing the fight towards this into a 3v3, and that has now turned into a perfect 3v3, because after all, they have given away one of their players.
Exactly, one of their players going away. Wolverine still here. Team QWERTY kind of, not really realizing how to approach this kind of situation, because the compound that they are in right now, Hot 10 area, is kind of being shared between three lads. Portal Esports, you have Venom Legends in the front lines, and then you have Team QWERTY in the same area. This is going to be an interesting one because the circle has shifted near the city as well, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite a lot of havoc being caused by all these teams.
Uh-oh, right here, Nightwing from Venom Legends is so close to the player of Portal Esports, and that is something that I don't think Venom Legends player knows, but Nightwing, we do know he is a very, very talented player, and as soon as he gets some audio cues, he's certainly going to be in control. But move the conversation towards the circle. It seems like TRZ made that rotation not too long ago. All four lads were alive, and now they're going to find themselves pretty much in the center of the zone. Yep, we've got three lads from TRZ, and Venom Legends, Rafat, is the one rushing towards the zone and the circle. And along with them is going to be Team QWERTY. What a perfect final moment this is going to be, where so many of these teams are so very close to each other. A lot of information and audio cues are being shared, but eventually who will be able to retaliate, who will be able to showcase that domination? TRZ Atomic will not be able to do so, and it is Speaker's advantage being given down towards the side of Rafat, and he has gotten another point for him. 2 kills to Venom Legends for the moment.
Look at his little pet, the dinosaur, kind of cold flames throwing out. Well, let's focus on the game for now. Venom Legends, though, uncomfortable situation for now. TRZ, well, he's trying to confirm the kill by jumping out and trying to get that kill, but no, almost makes it Mamba. Well, gonna be so sad after that one, I'm pretty sure. Watching your friend die right next to you is not really a good moment. Well, TRZ seems like backing out from that moment, backing out from that fight, which does make sense. Lost their man advantage in that fight. Venom Legends looking pretty good. All 4 players still standing. 1 player knocked out. Frypan shouldn't be really tough of a job to get the res onto him. So Venom Legends for now are looking pretty good. Void, Rafat kind of not really looking their fullest HP. Vortex in their backlines as well. He did hear his footsteps going down. Nightwing trying to get himself back in the cover. Does know there is one player in the backlines as well. And this is where Venom Legends is kind of getting surrounded and pinched.
They certainly are, but they have themselves absolutely spread out when it comes down to the zone and the circle itself. When it comes to Nightwing, he is the one who did see a lot of information and was able to actually, I think, give that information away to his teammates as well, as they are prone and are going to be controlling how much information do they want to give away in terms of the queues, because we can see them all lying down and slowly, very, very slowly move about. And along with that, when you talk about Team QWERTY, that is going to be right next to Venom Legends. INES Stalwart is outside the zone from the sound and the look of it, and it is not looking good for that lad, as he is taking a lot of damage. He will be certainly going for those res again and again, but that's only going to be based on how many medkits is he running along with. But move the conversation towards Venom Legend and QWERTY Esports Joker. It is Joker at the receiving end. Sad state of affair where he did try and bring in that fight for himself, but was not able to do so. Venom Legends still looking pretty strong in this fight.
Venom Legends looking pretty strong. Well, it seems like Khan proving his points again, proving that he's one of the best IGLs in the Pakistan region, or Pakistan region has to offer. All four players still alive in such late game situation. Voltrix kind of pinned down behind this little box. Rafat is the one holding them out. Nade's not really able to find their mark. Destroyer should change his position, because that second nade is definitely going to be taking him down, and yes, it will, without any doubt. When the first nade hits, you should be changing your position instantly, because this is where the opponent really exactly knows where you are. The res has finally been stuck on the Destroyer, so he should be getting back to his feet. Voltrix kind of following the same steps that Destroyer did, and he might just get caught off guard just like when he did. But Venom Legends are kind of on the outer skirts of the city right now, proning out in the open, in the grass. Seems like they don't want to join the party anymore.
They are overextending is what I want to say. When it comes to Venom Legend, I mean, this Bangla team is looking pretty ferocious, no question about it when it comes down to the final circle, but they are taking two individual fights. They've got TRZ as well, and that is where one of the players is busy. On the other tangent is going to be other two players of Venom Legends, where they are taking a fight towards Team QWERTY. We can clearly see that Rafat as well as another lad are going to be working towards getting this team, but eventually, what a perfect turn of events. Venom will bring down TRZ. Now it is a two-team affair.
Well, tables have been turned in the favor of Venom Legends, and yes, they will get the game in their hands as well. What exactly happened there, Team QWERTY? You had the entire game in your hand, and you still managed to screw it up. You still managed to mess it up. I don't really know what exactly happened there. How did things started crumbling down? Khan was the first man who went down in that fight, and then later on, each and every single one of their teammates started going down one after each other. This is more kind of like one thing. When you pull that one string and everything just falls apart, the same thing happened with Team QWERTY there.
Sad. It was sad. I mean, yes, we had been expecting this team to, outshine the competition, showcase that they are here, and they've done so. I mean, it's decent that they were able to walk away with the 12 points based on the placement, along with which Destroyer did get that one kill. So 13 points to this team is what Team QWERTY is looking at for the moment. On the other tangent is going to be Venom Legends. Just perfect turn of events for them. They were the one who were in control of that final zone. No two ways about it. TRZ did hold that ground for quite some time. We saw Vibe on the 6th position right there, who were also able to get a decently controlled aggression in this game. But boy, talk about QWERTY. This team, again, the aggression level has gone down massively when it comes down to the way they were taking that fight. They had the advantage. They had all four members alive. Venom was part of two individual fights, mind you, and still was able to defeat both those teams with one member shot. Venom Legends, just legend play.
Well, at this point, to be honest, I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, I actually don't even know what to say, because QWERTY, they did manage to secure second position. Okay, no doubt about that. But look at their kill points. Only one kill. That means they're going to be racking up 13 points in total. That's nothing. TRZ is going to be surpassing them. Even the team that is on fourth is going to be surpassing them. That means Team QWERTY has not done good in this game. Without any doubt, they came second, but they've only gotten 13 points on their name, which is not a lot.
Which is certainly not a lot, mate. Certainly not a lot. And that is something that, well, again, I mean, no matter how you look at it, eventually you are walking away with good points. And that is going to be good. That is certainly going to be good. But talking about the fans, you know, they're not going to be happy, I don't think, when it comes to Team QWERTY's play. Because we can clearly see the way they approached that fight was not on point at all.
Yeah,
and as so mentioned by you, when it comes down to Khan going down, it seemed like the entire team faltered down. Once again, proven the point that we were discussing earlier, comes down to the conversations, not the rotation, but the team conversations itself, the team synergy itself, that is not on point. That is not what it used to be back in the day. And that is something that Team QWERTY really seriously need to start preparing for and working towards, because these are the moments that they've got. But as they move away from these scrims into the actual games that will matter, where right now, yes, these games matter, you're working towards $2,000, but eventually, if you talk about $2,000 compared to the amount that you've got in PMPL sort of games, it's just, you know, not even a conversation to bring up.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is like a Team QWERTY is a good team. We do know Team QWERTY is one of the best teams in Pakistan region, without any doubt. Khan is one of my favorite IGLs. But the thing is, like, when Khan goes aggressive in some fights, he gets taken down most of the time. And it proves my point exactly, that IGLs should always hold their horses and try and play safe. These are the top players of the game. Of course, Rafat leading the board with that. Let's take a look at the match rankings. I want to see where Team QWERTY have gone themselves. And take a look at that. They fall down all the way on the 4th position. And this actually breaks my heart a lot, because I love Team QWERTY myself.
Most certainly, dude. There's nothing separating this team from those glorious moments that they did showcase not too long ago. But right now is seeming like a different story from Team QWERTY. But keeping our fingers crossed and move the conversation towards the Bangla team that I was discussing earlier. The ones that did take that chicken dinner, the ones that have been in control of their aggression, of their pace, of these games. It is none other than, of course, Venom Legends. Now, this team, like we were discussing, a 3-man strong army is what they had as they jumped into those final few moments of the game. 3 teams remaining, including Venom Legends as well. There was TRZ, there were 4 lads from Team QWERTY, and still it was Venom Legends that came up on top. Another point to bring up from this game is going to be Zeus Esports. They did try and retaliate for that boot camp area that they were on, but were booted out of that situation. Talk about that, mate.
Exactly.
Who would have thought?
Well, I mean, surprising factor again kicked in. But overall rankings, well, Team QWERTY nowhere found on the first board. We still have pretty much the same outcome. Venom Legends on 7th this time, though. Avon Esports on 6th. Then we have Zeus on 5th. Deadeyes on 4th. Astra on 3rd. DRS on 2nd. Vibes on 1. And the points are looking pretty good for now. I mean, the teams in the top 9, the comeback is still possible, including TUF. I mean, props to this team. Hats off to TUF without any doubt. They have been doing incredible in the scrims. The team that we did not really expect to do that good, but TUF has proven us all wrong. And TUF right now, to be honest, hats off.
Most certainly, dude. I mean, the way this team played absolutely were looking dominating, and the way they were able to get those points, you know, I'm slowly and steadily throughout the day, is certainly working in their favor. From the first game that they showcased, they were on the 3rd spot right here. This has moved them up on the 9th. That is basically the 2nd page overall ranking, looking in their favor. Same goes for INES as well, where initially at the start of the day, we were looking at this team not looking at a decent placement, not looking too good, but now they are on the 2nd page. So things working for them, right? Move the conversation towards the final page. This is where we've got Stalwart, that is I8. This is where we've got XB, Blood Legion, God's Reborn, High Voltage, 7C, Futurestation, all these names, they have showcased a lot of wonderful plays. But sadly, when it comes to the scrims, it is not the case thus far.
It's not the case that far. R3D, well, on 21th position. What happened there? We have Stalwart Flex in 22nd as well. I mean, things are not looking good for them. They need to rack up. They need to rack up. They need to be fast, quick on their feet. One last game left for today. I mean, if you're going to be able to get chicken dinner at least decent position with a decent amount of kill, then that's going to be boosting your ranking up quite a lot on the overall leaderboards. Top 16 is what you're aiming for over here.
Exactly. That should be what all these teams ought to be working towards. And this final leaderboard page is not looking good for any of those teams, because all of those teams have showcased wonderful plays, right? When you talk about Stalwart, when you talk about High Voltage, you talk about R3D, all these things, Futurestation for that matter, again, they have been on point in terms of these scrims. Futurestation has been really good. Really good when it comes down to their plays. But overall, it is the consistency that is going to matter when it comes down to the placement. And those consistency is where the key is to bring your points up. That is how you will take a reign of where you fall back when it comes down to the ranking. With that, as you said, we've got one game remaining for the day, and hopefully that also is going to be bringing a lot of interesting plays, because I mean, all the games today, it is Sanhok. Yes, you know for a fact it will be really crazy games, but before we jump into the final game, we are going to go on a very short break. Stick around, we're going to be right back.
The Titan Strikes mode introduces 3 Titans to Erangel, Sanhok, and Livid. Godzilla and Kong move along designated routes across the map. Players can chase after them in vehicles, but if you get too close, you'll be knocked down and take damage. When Titans get ready to unleash a heat ray, the system will prompt players to leave the red zone marked on the minimap. Players equipped with high-level armor receive reduced damage from the heat ray. Titans will absorb energy which emanates gradually from the earth. Once the energy reaches a certain threshold, Titans release it and create Titan crystals around them. Different types of Titan crystals provide different effects. Erangel's blue Titan crystals are special throwable items that players can equip. They knock back and burn enemies who are behind cover. Sanhok's gold Titan crystals enhance players' abilities, making you run faster and jump higher. Livik's red Titan crystals give players the ability to detect enemies nearby for a brief period of time. These enhancement items give players an edge in battle. Use them and bring the chicken dinner home. With the help of Titan crystals, players have even more unique tactics to achieve victory. Godzilla and Kong roam Erangel and Sanhok respectively, and players may bump into them on Spawn Island. Players can preview the Titan's route on the minimap, along with Apex Cybernetics, and low, mid, and high-level monster settlements. Apex Cybernetics are scattered along the Titan's route, which contains many valuable supplies. However, players can only enter the facility after a Titan has destroyed the base. Players that arrive early will not be able to get into the highly fortified Apex camp. At the same time, defeating different monster settlements rewards good supplies. Monster settlements are mainly occupied by lizards and crabs. Players can use a diversion to divide and conquer. The monsters are big, so using a shotgun at close range can deal huge damage. Players must also be wary of the Titan's attacks. Although they're not hostile towards players, they get irritated when there's too many players around. The Titan on Livik has unique electromagnetic abilities that affect the blue zone and cause it to shift every once in a while. Now, players must pay constant attention to the new play zones and transfer immediately when they begin to shrink, as to ensure they're not swallowed by the blue zone. Furthermore, Mechagodzilla periodically scans an area of the safe zone and marks the locations of everyone in the area on the minimap. This urges players to transfer or engage their enemies. Players must be extra careful. The Titan Strikes game mode is based on Battle Royale. Players must strive to be the last one standing amidst battling other players and Titans. With the addition of Titans, players are ready to witness their majesty and get their hands on the mysterious Titan crystals. Enjoy the all-new Titan Strikes and experience the earth-shattering might of the Titan.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims 2021 by Nordwind Gaming. This is Season 2. Day number 3 is what we're on, and it has been a wonderful start. Wonderful start to the day. Of course, along with us is going to be Necro to take us through this final game, dude. It has been, like we were just discussing before the break as well, a dominating start for so many of these teams. I mean, teams like Zeus Esports are nowhere to be seen as well.
Well, I mean, I don't really know what's going on, you know. Zeus is actually getting eliminated early off. I mean, they are given a tough fight, without any doubt. They're given a tough fight. But I just feel like I just feel like somewhere down the line, they're just making a lot of mistakes, or maybe they're just not taking this serious.
It could be. It could be the case because again, we've seen them. When it comes to the boot camp, the boot camp is theirs. There is no team that can even try and sneak peek into the boot camp that Zeus is on. If there would be one, they are going to be, rushed out of that situation because those sort of situations is what we've seen during the PMPL games as well. But this time around, it is a different approach that Zeus has taken, and that's all right. That's okay because overall, they do need just that one game. Right? Just that one game, and they are going to be looking good. That is what they've showcased as well as they did in the previous week with the first game. 16 kills is what Zeus Esports walked away with, and in that, it was Icy with 11 kills. So, never mind Zeus, never mind their positioning, because if they want, they very well can. The other teams is where the conversation falls back on, because teams are not able to synergize or showcase that sort of play that will be called dominating, at least for now.
Exactly. Well, I mean, those plays are, of course, going to be kind of well, we'll still have to search for them. Deadeyes going for hot 10 area. Well, I mean, pretty much the regular drop spots for all these teams that have been happening since a long time. Blood Legion kind of going towards the Pinon area. We have Portal Esports in Runes. And Skylightz Gaming, take a look at Paradise Resort. Skylightz Gaming right next to them. Then we have Futurestation 1952 as well, kind of in the closer lines. Venom Legends as well joining, so we might see a fight happening between those lads.
That certainly could be the case. For the moment, we are certainly going to be looking forward to what team are going to be bringing an early domination, an early aggression. Right here, we've got DRS, and right next to them is TUF. TUF, we just discussed, are having a pretty brilliant day. And right off the bat, they are the ones in control as AJ has been brought down to his knees and sent back into the lobby in the first minute of the game itself. TUF's Thor is probably going to be the next lad who is going to be in control, but Mr. Boro, well, Mr. Boro is ready and prepped and equipped to take control of that aggression. But this is where Bravo positioning has resulted in a little bit of a sad state of affair for DRS.
Yep, a little bit of sad state of affair here. DRS seems like they're kind of getting pinched. They don't really have the positioning to counter the strategy that TUF is putting on. Unless they just find themselves a knock, like the first opening that they're looking for, then maybe TUF might just start kind of panicking. But TUF is going head-to-head against one of the best teams in the scrim, so they need to watch out a little bit. Kind of aggression being shown from these lads, and kind of passing right next to him. And Boro not really able to react in time. DRS is crumbling down. TUF, a team. Wow. This team is causing havoc. Somebody stop TUF. They need to be stopped right now.
What a massive, aggressive play that was. There was not even a blink of a second between the lads of TUF pushing and gunning the lads of course, Mafia Ninja's team. That is going to be DRS Gaming. We know DRS Gaming, when they are in form, they do take these fights and they take them beautifully. But this time around, it seems like TUF, they are... Wow, they are on a spree. Wow. It's like a prey, just perfect, absolute perfect aggression from TUF. On the other side, though, on the other side of the map, we did see Portal Esports in a bit of a tricky situation as Seal Esports were bringing down the players of Portal Esports. At least 2 kills were confirmed. I think Portal Esports is down to a 1-man army or a 2-man squad for the moment. We shall answer that question as soon as we jump down towards that side of the region. But this Camp Bravo, well, this is TUF's turf. Nothing can stop them.
Exactly, nothing can stop them. TUF, well, it seems like things are still, I mean, they're looking pretty good. They took down a squad like DRS. Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to be happy after that one. Confidence level boosted up to maximum. And I'm pretty sure maybe in later games as well, TUF is going to be dominating it. Well, let's have God's Reborn over here. And seems like they've already gotten themselves, I mean, already posted up for success. I mean, they've gotten themselves the higher grounds as well secured. They have looted so quickly and already secured themselves a position in those late games. Zeus still dropping in the boot camp area, playing this as if it's like a normal casual lobby.
Well, once again, we do see Zeus as well as Astra Academy in the same exact compound that last time around did not favor Zeus Esports. This time around could be a different conversation as the fight between these two is still on hold. When it comes to the information, certainly as you look on down towards Leo as well as Godless and Apley, they are all hunkered down into the compounds that they are in and certainly will gauging their eyes towards the positioning of Astra Academy. So the information has been relayed between the two teams. It's just a stalemate before we get into a fight. Talking about God's Reborn, this team is on the final page of the leaderboard on the 24th position. When we started off with the scrims, this team was looking good. They were bringing in a lot of kills. They were looking really comfortable with the aggressive stance that they had made and created for themselves. But as the lobby progressed on along, as the games progressed on along, God's Reborn were not able to get that anchor set in the gameplay and sadly have been pushed all the way back to the 24th position. But right now, again, as you look onto their position, they were looking pretty comfortable on top of that hill, will be silently waiting to retaliate and attack. Whereas on the receiving end, very close to them, is going to be Skylightz Gaming.
Exactly. Skylightz Gaming on the top of the hill. Well, kind of in the watchtower as well, Leon. I like the way he was trying to scout out the area, trying to play as safe as possible. Leon does know someone is on top of the hilltop. I really feel like he's overexposing his back, and just one little glimpse from the side of God's Reborn is going to be enough to like catch Leon off guard.
That is so true, because Leon is all by himself for now. When it comes to his team's backup, it is on the receiving end thanks to A1 Esports. And Leon overextended. God's Reborn certainly had the advantage. They were on top of that hill and have been able to confirm that knock. Now, before they push on along, they are certainly going to be asking the question, is there only a one man over there or is there a team set up for them? And that is what is going on through the mind of Sad Mad here. But he will not back down because he got that point, and what rather, he almost got that point and he wants to well confirm it.
Exactly, almost got that point, did confirm it as well. Well, now it seems like things are looking pretty tough on the side of them. While TDK spotting out A1 Esports kind of on the hilltop there. A little glimpse was spotted out, but then again, such long fights, I don't really know in such early games. It's going to be kind of worth it because you're just going to be wasting a lot of bullets on the enemy lines while the rest would be there without any trouble. Of course, you won't be able to confirm it because the enemy will be back in the cover in no time. While God's Reborn here and there scouting the area out, still doesn't seem like have spotted a single man, and they probably think they're in a no man's land right now.
Well, they could think what they want, but we do know for a fact Futurestation is very close to them. Skylight, we just saw Leon was overextending and certainly was, well, punished for the same. But Futurestation is there, A1 Esports is there, and that is next teams that we can probably think that we could expect God's Reborn to go up against in the next few minutes. Bring the conversation down towards T2K. Train to Kill. Blah, blah, blah is who we are with right now as he's got his crosshairs set towards the side of A1 Esports, but he has no information as of now. T2K as well, when you talk about the scrims, started off perfectly, absolutely in control of a lot of the perfectly controlled aggressive plays rather that they showcased in week number one, day number one, but move that conversation towards the next few remaining days. Not so good whatsoever at all, because they have just slowly and steadily been going down and down in terms of the opportunities as well that we've seen T2K be in. They have been at the receiving end of those based on the rotations or their positioning, sadly.
Exactly. Well, God's Reborn still kind of, still kind of trying to find someone down. Well, it seems like the observers do like God's Reborn quite a lot. We have been sticking on to them since a long time. While A1 Esports kind of just pinned down behind those little ridges. Shycut is still behind that tree. Yashiro does know there's someone behind that tree though, still trying his best to, you know, at least make a couple of shots here and there. Maybe Shycut will peek out. But still no sign of any humans near the side of God's Reborn.
Absolutely, mate. For now, that certainly seems to be the case. And again, I mean, you talk about God's Reborn and the way they are wanting to take this position. They're not moving. They are not moving as if there's Godzilla out in the open that is searching for them or something. Because, I mean, they do know that there are teams out there they do hear a few of those gun battles that did take place between A1 Esports and Futurestation, but they're still not wanting to move any closer whatsoever at all, because they know that they've got the hill working in their favor. If they step down from the hill, that could be the turning point for their gameplay. So, of course, for now, nevertheless, things are working in their favor, and after all, it is all going to be absolutely fine as long as you stay all 4 members alive and move along. But finally, in the 10th minute marker is where Zeus Esports and Astra Academy are taking on a fight. They've been a part of this compound for the longest time. Well, basically the 10 minutes that we've been a part of this game. And now finally we do see Astra Academy as well as Zeus Esports overextend a little bit and get into a fight. Now, who will be the better one? Let's find out, because again, Zeus Esports are hunkered down in that compound, and it is Astra Academy who seem to be making a rotation and wanting to take a fight. And sadly though, Squire is the one who has been knocked for the moment. That aggression was backfired, and Ziol will be the one taking, maybe confirming that kill.
Exactly. Astra Academy, well, those smokes being lopped in from their side, but Zeus is just over-aggressive over here. Need to watch out. Maybe you won't get punished for being so aggressive, for being so greedy. Astra Academy, one player has been taken down. Another player is kind of on the left side, Pika. But Godless is still there. Maybe Godless can hear him out. Godless does. If Godless finds out where Pika is, it's pretty much Astra Academy's strategy has been broken down without any doubt. Like, it's pretty much their strategy has been just revealed to the side of Zeus, which is the Mongolian team. While we still have some teams fighting out here and there, Deadeyes as well, kind of punishing out Astra. And it seems like Astra are getting third party from their backlines as well. One player has been taken down from Astra Academy, and it seems like this might just be their end.
Oh no, that is not good. That is so not good. Action and Pika are the only 2 surviving members, and that is just an all-out war thanks to DE stepping in. With that, Astra Academy were able to at least get that 1 kill towards the side of Zeus Esports, and none other than Godless was knocked and killed. So they do have that 1 point, but apart from that, this fight has certainly gone into a complete disarray for the side of Astra Academy. As they were looking in control, as they were creating some opportunities, DE stepped in at the perfect moment and just obliterated pretty much their positioning in this fight. Now it is going to be Zeus 3-man squad going against a 2-man army of Astra.
Exactly, a 3-man squad going against a 2-man army. Interesting fight, interesting battle over here, and 1 man from Astra Academy has that detrimental DBS as well. We do know how much it decimates and shreds out enemies. So you want to watch out before you're stepping right into the crosshairs of that DBS all over or all the time. Action. A little warning shots given away, and seems like Zeus are going to be backing out from that situation. And take a look at the crossfire being set up from the side of Astra Academy as well. They do know if they go all the way top on the terrace, they might just get punished or third party by any other squad. I don't really know the way Action is challenging the fight. I'm kind of cautious. I'm kind of feeling anxious by watching the way Action is challenging this entire fight. The way he is proven out inside this fight, it's like he's the hero for Astra Academy. Yep.
Wait for it, because we've got DE in the house as well. All of this was happening, but along with the vicinity came in DE, and DE is the one that's going to be gunning down all of these lads and all of these players. Boy, oh boy, Zeol is down, the play is down, they've been sent back into the lobby, and DE, Deadeyes Guys, are the ones that will step up and take this glorious moment and the compound to be theirs, because what a perfect play. It is in the center of the zone, and pretty much the center of the zone in the circle, looking pretty comfortable. Above them is going to be Futurestation, and this fight just does not want to stop. DE steps in, get those kills, but now it is Futurestation that they have to take another fight to be able to retain the compound that they just won.
Bootcamp, of course, a hot area in the map. Always fights happening there. And wow, just a little peek, and Deadeyes almost cut his head off. We'll see why not going to be happy after that one. His helmet is almost busted out as well. He might need a new one, and yes, there is one inside the house. So for now, it's looking pretty comfortable and good. But such kind of mistakes, I don't really know if it's a good choice, peeking back again.
Exactly, from the same spot peeking again and again is certainly not the way to go. And that is something, well, C-Wine learned a little late. But nevertheless, it's absolutely fine because when it comes to the damage that he was able to take away from that, it is looking pretty good. His vest is looking good, his helmet is looking A-okay because it's a level 1 helmet that he's just changed to, I believe. But overall, he is going to be able to walk away from that position and will be going back to his teammates. So, leaves DE all by themselves at the edge of that zone. But as they move on along, let's have a look at the center where we have A1 Esports 3-man squad that is going to be so close to God's Reborn, and on top of them is going to be T2K making a rotation towards this compound that A1 is hunkered in.
Exactly. T2K. It seems like finally a little tingle has started tingling their feet, and it seems like they want to challenge some fights over here and there. It does make sense. TDK isn't really able to show up themselves inside this this day. And now TDK seems like they've finally woken up and they want to do something in the game as well. Maybe to get their name up on those leaderboards. God's Reborn. A1 Esports has pretty much a rough idea that there is someone on top of the hill. So the way these lads are playing, these lads are not really giving away any kind of peaks. And this is kind of a mature gameplay shown from the side of A1 Esports. Not really being over-aggressive, not really being kind of like over-curious who there is, maybe trying to find out a knock. Instead, go for the safer play.
That is true, and that is going to be really crucial for this team because A1 Esports needs these points. There's no two ways about it. And to take these points, they have to be consistent. They have to hold their ground. They have to be safe. And what better way to keep yourself safe in the map of Sanhok? Well, find a compound and hunker it down. Call it your own. No matter what you have to do, do not let any other team get close to that compound. And that's what A1 Esports is working towards as of now. But on the back lines, we see a green team pushing on along right here, which is probably going to be God's Reborn. And God's Reborn, yes, have already started taking some fight as well.
Exactly. They finally started taking some fights here and there. A1 Esports, well, still playing pretty safe. It seems like they're home quarantined for now, not really stepping out there. Do you know? Well, it's just danger lurking around. You want to make sure you're staying inside the house. Use as much as safety as possible. Venom Legends as well seems like finally they're taking a little bit of shots here and there. One player is falling down low, and he needs to get back up though. Void is not really looking good. Seems like his health is not really looking good. HP bar degrading down, and we do know what that means. That means hell is about to break loose somewhere.
17 minutes into the game, 10 teams remain. This is looking real good for so many of these teams. A1 Esports, a 3-man squad, is in front of God's Reborn right about now. On the back end, of course, there's going to be T2K as they move on along and get into the zone. But as they do so, Venom Legend are doing the exact same thing. And Venom Legend, not only do they know the information that they just got based on T2K's rotation, but they are going to be looking on towards the far end of this zone as well, because that's where they want to be. But Deadeyes on the other tangent is exactly there where Venom could maybe be making that rotation towards it. At least for now, that's what it looks like. And yes is the answer, where we do see Hungry Box Sifuso taking this perfect rotation, but Rafat is walking straight towards them.
He's walking straight towards them. Well, still A1 Esports, well, it's having a great time in the houses, partying it out, and seems like even our observers kind of enjoying spectating A1 Esports, you know. They're having a great time spectating A1 Esports since a long time. Well, damages are being ticked here and there. A lot of teams are taking a little bit of damage as the circle is shrinking down. So they will need to be a little cautious. But again, when the circle is shrinking down this late in the game, you still have 10 teams alive. So third parties and damage and kills will be flying away in any position. God's Reborn going head-to-head against the players of Venom Legends as well. One player has been knocked out. And it seems like up till now in that fight, Venom Legends is looking absolutely dominating. We'll take a look at this. Breaking ran through the wiggle from the side of TDK. James sees quite a lot of damage in that fight as well. A1 Esports trying their best to retaliate back in style, but seems like one player has been taken down. The other one is down to such low HP as well. Nades lopped in from their side. Those nades are probably going to be getting the knock as well. And yes, those knocks are there on point. Now it's just down to Sinister. What is he going to be able to pull off? It's a 1-on-4 clutch. Is he going to be able to do much in such kind of situations?
Well, left all by himself, this is not looking like a fight Sinister would want to be a part of, but eventually what can he do? He has been rushed into this one thanks to T2K's perfect approach towards this compound, and in doing so, T2K have already lost three, well, not lost actually, but they were down low and knocked. That was two of their players, but once again, what a perfect play this was from Sinister. That one perfect Molotov has resulted in the entirety of T2K going down. Sinister holding the compound for A1 Esports. Beautiful turn of events indeed. But now, again, this is looking not so favorable for Sinister because he is all by himself and a lot of information has been given away, which will result in how will he be wanting to approach this final few circles. We've been brought down to 9 teams remaining. God's Reborn again, they have played this game very passively and now are going to be rushed in towards a fight against Venom Legends from the looks of it.
Exactly. Well, now, God's Reborn, again, same position since the whole time. God's Reborn haven't moved a muscle. Well, now it seems like A1 Esports finally spotted out. Sinister taken down. That 1v4 from that man was an iconic moment. And Venom Legends are looking pretty good as well. 8 teams alive, 30 players in total. And Venom Legends are looking pretty dominant in such a late game circle. Deadeyes still have all 4 of their players alive. That means, damn it, that means danger is still lurking on their heads.
That is so true. When you talk about 4 lads alive, we've got God's Reborn in that same exact chart. We've got Venom Legends in the same exact chart. We are down to the 5th and correction, 10 seconds remaining. 6th zone is where we're going to be stepping into. God's Reborn are again pushing on along towards the southern part of southern position of Venom Legends as of now, and they are once again not taking or wanting to take a fight, whereas Venom Legends, they are just slowly and steadily getting themselves into the zone. Once they do so, perhaps that is where we can see Venom Legends step into the fight, and that is exactly what is taking place. Venom Legends did make that rotation closer and closer towards DE, and DE have taken a bit of a knock based off of that as well. But now it is Venom going up against DE, and it is not looking too good for the side of Venom Legends because Deadeyes have their crosshairs perfectly placed, and on the other tangent it is Seal Esports bringing down a bit of an aggression towards high voltage.
Bit of an aggression on their side. Venom Legends, well, still on the lower hill. They did get the rest back in on their teammate, but Deadeyes is kind of making their path a little tough. They're making a struggle. TRZ right on their left side. ESP spotted out, taken down instantly. God's Reborn punishing the map. And it seems like God's Reborn, somewhere down line, they are doing pretty good. They are doing pretty good, but they will have to go head-to-head against the squad of Venom Legends or either Deadeyes. And this is where we don't really know which squad might just come out on top. INES is still alive in the game, which is Stalwart Esports. They're still behind that little rock. All 4 players are looking good. So we don't really know, but Seal is right behind them. This is where the pressure or the real hell might just break loose. Take a look at Koa. This man is just an absolute eagle eye. Little glimpse is enough. Took down 2 players instantly.
Absolutely, but he better be careful of his 3 and 6 o'clock because after all, he's not all by himself when it comes down to the final moments of this circle and of this game. 6 seconds remaining. We're going to be pushed on down towards the 7th zone, but God's Reborn Koa is not wanting to let go of the knocks that he just confirmed. He's wanting to convert those into points, into kills, and that's exactly what he's working towards. Got that nade perfectly set. He's just barraging towards this side, towards this compound of I8, and eventually will probably be able to convert that into a kill for himself. But here we go. Third parties are always welcomed in this game, and sadly it is Futurestation stepping in. They did take away a few of those kills, but eventually it is God Reborn's cow and his nade that brought down the entirety of I8.
Exactly. Well, I8, unfortunate moments, unfortunate stuff for that team. I don't really know what exactly happened with this team. That they were kind of camping inside that little shack. Later on, just got absolutely decimated with those nades. 4 teams, 9 players alive. Deadeyes still have all their 4 players alive. We have Futurestation 1952 still in the game as well. Seal kind of got caught off in the open. Ankle trying his best to heal and move inside the circle as well at the same time. So things are looking pretty tough all over the side. Maybe Seal is pretty much a gone game.
It could very well be, but Ankle is trying to maybe work towards just getting those placement points, as all the other teams that do have all 3 to 4 members alive are going to be that much more busy, and that is something that CD Sports player Ankle as well as Magnet from Futurestation could very well try and get in their favor. But in doing so, this has resulted in interesting turn of events where final player for FS seems to have gone down. No, C-Wine is still here. So we do have Futurestation that is still part of the game. And it is looking pretty comfortable because it was the final player that was Sealy Sports' player that seems to have, well, he's still alive as well. We've just moved from 4 teams to 3 teams. And I'm trying to figure out what was that one player that has just been sent back into the lobby.
What was that one player? Well, it was probably the player Seal there. He was trying to heal. Oh, no, he's still alive. Ankle still alive in the game. Barely made it inside the circle as well. Deadeyes kind of threw their backpacks away. They know it's probably a snake battle, at least up till now. Well, Seal still alive in the game as well. I feel like Ankle should wait it out and wait that have the most man advantage, fight it out. And yes, the first kill that they're looking for has finally been found, but Deadeyes as well kind of crippled down. Well, now it's just down to Magnet, the one last man surviving from Futurestation 1952. How is he going to be able to convert it into his favor? How is he going to be able to flip the tables? Only time will tell. Hungrybox trying his best to get his teammate on the safer side. C-Wine getting as much as info as possible with those footsteps. He's probably giving the calls away to Magnet as well. Magnet kind of posted up for success. He doesn't want to give any footsteps away. He just knows there are enemies dancing right in front of him.
Absolutely, and doing so has resulted in a lot of information being given away towards the side of Magnet, but eventually now we bring ourselves down to Futurestation's player and Sealy Sports Ankle. He seems to be wanting to get into the fight. He certainly is all up and seems to be wanting to get a little bit of damage dished out towards the other side, but eventually that does not look like the position, the kind of gameplay that he wants to bring to the table. Not entirely sure what exactly is he doing. He's certainly given away a lot of his positioning. And Deadeyes Guys right here on top and on pot. Well, I don't know why did he change his name, but it is on pot sir now rather than on top. And he's the one who was almost about to get that final player. But eventually, again, there was no two ways about it. It was going to be a DE game. Wow, with the amount of kills. 14 kills coming in from this team. Beautiful turn of events. DE looking comfortable. But Sealy Sports were not that far behind as well. When you talk about those kills, this team was also looking pretty comfortable with 13 kills.
13 kills in their name. Seal, that was a banger of a game for their side. But again, Deadeyes did quite an incredible job. Hungrybox Sir racking up 8 kills all by himself. That's going to be pushing their team up quite a lot on those leaderboards as well. Futurestation 1952, I mean, one of the consistent teams, of course, from the side of Bangladesh coming in with 7 kills on their name as well. Not really far behind. I mean, things are not really looking good for, especially things are not really looking good for teams like Stalwart Esports in the previous game. Did get kind of caught off guard, out in the open. We personally did not expect them to go down that easily. They were not really aware of the window, and this is where, enemies just took their advantage and found the right moment.
Absolutely, and Kao's nade was just so on point. Never mind the nade, because even before the nade, he did have his crosshairs set so perfectly, was on point against I8, and not only one, but 2 players were knocked based on just that one perfectly placed crosshair from Kao. So again, God's Reborn, we do know that team also is really capable when it comes down to the aggression. But again, just interesting turn of events. He was able to get some decent points from that fight. Eventually, we shall see when it comes to the overall rank and where, or rather, how many points did that team of God's Reborn end up walking away with. But the approach that we saw in the final circle was just incredible, was just perfect, because DE, we had Zeus Esports in the compound, we had Astra in the compound. That is where the entire barrage of DE started, and kill after kill after kill, they walk away with so many kills from this game.
Exactly, walked away with quite a lot of kills in that game. Without any doubt, walked away with so many kills in the previous game. There was one more team who was trying their best, come out on top, but unfortunately failed pretty bad. Seal, I would say, Seal. They tried their best, but in the end, if they had one more player maybe alive in those late games as well, then I really feel like there was a massive chance they could have stolen that game away from Deadeyes, without any doubt, because the player from 1952 made things way much more tougher for Deadeyes, because he did get one knockdown in the end onto him.
Absolutely. Again, when you talk about that top-notch performance coming in from these lads, it was certainly pretty neat to see. Sadly, we were not able to see that first early aggression that was showcased from CD Esports. That was against Portal Esports. That did come up in the kill feed. But, I mean, again, it was just in the initial few minutes of the game. So CD Esports did start racking up those kills right off the bat as soon as they jumped into the game. But here, you talk about Deadeyes Guys, Hungry Box. 8 kills to this lad. Beautiful play. And the final player standing for CD Sports was Anke, and he was the man who walked away with 5 kills.
Exactly. Walks away with 5 kills for himself. I mean, of course, Deadeyes getting that chicken dinner, 14 points combined. That's 29 in total. That's a lot of points right there. Seal not far behind. It seems like they are on the ways of comeback over here. If they keep on playing the way they played this game, I'm pretty sure, I mean, the top positions are not really far away. Then we have Futurestation coming in as well with 17 kills. Then we have God's Reborn, High Voltage, Team TUF. I mean, I have to say it over and over again. TUF is doing an incredible job in this scrims. Like, without any doubt, coming in from the side of Pakistan region, TUF has a lot to prove, and I really feel like they have some raw talent in them.
Most certainly. I mean, there we can clearly see on the first page, they were with 5 kills. Only 1 placement point, but 5 kills. Now, that is an aggressive stance that TUF has taken. No two ways about it. And on the other tangent, when you talk about Zeus Esports, they held that compound for 10 minutes against Astra. No team wanted to get into a fight. And as soon as DE stepped in, or rather, as soon as both the teams, Astra as well as Zeus, tried to get into a fight, it was DE that stood up on top. Just crazy play.
Well, I mean, vibe spot taken away instantly, you know? It's just like all these teams are just wanting to, you know, at least put a break on the enemy team's performance and then instantly just steal their spots away. TUF have moved up quite a lot. Skylightz Gaming, though, have moved down pretty bad, including PM Crew. So now it seems like TUF is slowly and steadily making their way to success.
That is true. They are on the 9th spot right now. And as you so perfectly said, they are slowly and steadily making their perfect way towards the first page of the leaderboard. On the other tangent, talk about the final page of the leaderboard. And 24th position is now held by XP Blood Legion with 14 points. Gods Reborn have moved up to 22nd position for now. Why? Boy, this is beautiful. Beautiful turn of events indeed. Because again, I mean, we saw T2K on that not perfect, sorry, my apologies, but on the final page of that leaderboard, but had a perfect start to the scrims, where we talk about the first week itself. They were looking in control of those kills again and again and again. 7 kills, 11 kills, game after game. But that's just the story of the game, right? You have to be consistent, and if you're not, well, you're going to be pushed on down really quickly. And that's what has happened with the teams like Stalwart, like T2K, just sad state of affair.
Exactly. I mean, things weren't really looking good for those teams. And maybe in the future games, we still have 3 more games coming up tomorrow as well. So maybe in those games, they will perform good. They still have a lot of chances.
Absolutely, mate. With that, we do reach the end of our stream for today. Thank you so very much, everybody who was able to tune in. Like we just said, like Necro just said, we'll be back again tomorrow with 3 more games between all these groups and find out where exactly is the story in Season 2 of the South Asia Pro Scrims leading us down towards. With that, thank you so very much for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, sayonara.
Let's get it.